Tell me a story.
Stay away from my hair.
Hello, welcome to Culture Filter. I'm Phil, this is my daughter Paige, and we are reviewing the story and the engine episode of Doctor Who.
We have a special guest today. We have Frogbert.
Oh yeah, Frogbert, who is out of focus, but oh well.
Oh well.
Little tiny mini frog, whose opinions on the episode are... Did Frogbert enjoy the episode?
No, he doesn't like spiders.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. We had to warn my wife out, to not come in the room because she really doesn't like spiders. So anytime the spider was on screen, Rowan, our son, who didn't want to come in this review today, who's calling us from downstairs, ran out and warned her not to come in. So, first of all, very quick spoiler-free thoughts. Did you like this episode?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
It definitely wasn't my favourite episode.
Okay. So your favourite episode so far is...
God.
Is it the Ruby one? Ruby, last week's episode. Okay. I really liked this episode because it was very different. I loved what they did visually with it, with the animations. I loved there were some great emotional beats into it as well. Got to see a variety of emotions from everyone, really, but particularly the Doctor in some moments. I'm trying to say this without going into spoilers yet. So yeah, that was all very good. I loved the animations. I loved the kind of themes of storytelling and some of the analogies that were made, and yeah, it kind of kept me gripped throughout the whole episode. So big thumbs up. Honestly, this season is just firing on all cylinders. Every episode has been at least really good, if not some of them great. So great season so far. But let's talk spoilers. So the pre-title sequence where we got the Barber starting to shape. We got the story. No, we got his friend, the Omo, telling a story, and the animation. What did you think of the animations?
That was really cool. I like how it was like on the window.
Yeah, it's nice when the show does something a bit different visually like that, I think. And the one thing I wish it had done, and I get why they didn't, but I kind of wish they kept with the same style later on when they came to telling Belinda's story. And I get that they did it to include another Belinda scene in an episode where Belinda was maybe less of a focus. But it would have been nice if that had been kind of visualised in the kind of same style of animation as the other patrons of the barbershop's stories had been. And we'd seen her go through that day of helping that woman and saving that woman's life through animation instead of actually seeing it on screen. I think that could have been quite nice. So it's a shame they didn't keep with that. I also quite like the way it kind of became the title sequence in the window. You know, you got me to pause it and go back, because in the window where the animations had been, the actual title sequence started as well.
Oh, wow.
And then it kind of zoomed into it. Kind of adding to that whole meta thing we've got this season. Kind of slightly breaking the fourth wall, almost as if the story, which ties into the themes at the end, I guess, the story of the Doctor is a story that the engine is being fueled by, which is what happens at the end when it overloads.
By the way, I don't have much to say because I lost all my notes.
Yeah, Paige wrote loads of notes on her tablet and then accidentally deleted them all before we came up. So you're going from pure memory, aren't you? So what else did I like? I liked the mentions of like the way the Doctor feels at home in this place. And, you know, it could have just been a kind of throwaway thing, but it did tie into how he felt betrayed by Omo a bit later on, because he feels that this is a place that he can come to. Nigeria, and particularly the barbershop, is a place that since he's, you know, regenerated into an incarnation with black skin, he feels he can come to and feel safe, feel at home. Whereas in other parts of the planet, you know, he senses like either judgment or stuff. That feels like there's a barrier there maybe. Whereas here, he just feels completely at home and can tell his stories and has this camaraderie ship, which we see as he's walking through the market. He knows like so many people in this place. He obviously comes here quite a lot. You know, is familiar with them enough to like be referring to them as auntie and uncle and brother and stuff in that kind of very familiar way. So he's kind of got this community here, which then really plays into how he feels betrayed later on, when he finds out that Omo has kind of hoping to get him here to help them out and potentially trap him to fuel this engine so that they can get out. I really liked that scene where he basically said, "Don't talk to me, Omo, you know, you've betrayed me." That was a really powerful scene. And yes, the Doctor does cry again in it, as he does do every episode, but it was definitely warranted here. I think that sense of betrayal was really powerful in that moment.
It was sad.
It was sad. Yes, it was sad that he felt betrayed. They all come around by the end and they've kind of made up, but in that moment it was very sad. We had the mystery of Abby, of who Abby was, and also the mystery of the barber shop. The barber himself was kind of interesting because he kept on giving us things and then finding out that they weren't quite true, like that he was all these gods, but then it turns out he wasn't all these gods. And I think it did a good job of stringing us along, giving us bits, teasing us with stuff, and then pulling it back and keeping us guessing throughout. What did you think of the barber?
I preferred his haircut at the end than to the beginning.
Okay, but as a character, yeah, that's his haircut.
Character.
Yeah. Is he a good villain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he menacing?
He's not a villain at the end.
No, he's a redeemed villain at the end, yes. But was he menacing enough? Did he feel threatening?
No.
No? Okay. I thought it was very menacing. The way it was shot, especially the way he acted it, I thought he did a very good.
No, because then he kind of went down a bit and like he became less menacing.
Maybe.
So.
But then I think that's partly because when the Doctor really doesn't know what's going on, that's when the barber feels at his most menacing. And then as the Doctor kind of starts to piece things together gradually throughout the episode, it's almost like that diminishes the barber's power somewhat, because the Doctor is gaining the knowledge that he's going to need ultimately to defeat him. So that might account for him gradually feeling less menacing throughout the episode. Maybe that's deliberate.
Talk about my favourite bit.
Yeah, what's your favourite bit?
So near the end when they're sorting everything out, when the heart of I don't know,
the engine, the story engine
opens up, I really like it because it kind of looked a bit like a tree to me. Like it had lots of vines.
Yeah, visually it was very pretty. Yeah, very nice. Good design. Excellent design all throughout this episode, in fact.
I also liked how Abby was telling a story and doing the Doctor's haircut, making it into a maze so that she was helping him escape, basically.
Yes. And that came about, okay, let's talk about Abby. I liked Abby. There was the mystery of who she was, and was she somebody connected to the Doctor's past? And it turns out she was. But we get this very fleeting moment where we get the Fugitive Doctor. Do you remember the Fugitive Doctor? For a very brief moment, the Doctor changes into that woman. On screen, it looks like the Doctor's changed into that woman.
Yeah.
That's the Fugitive Doctor. Do you remember her from the Jodie Whittaker era? When the Doctor was a woman? And then there was this other Doctor that she met up with who she couldn't remember being. Don't remember those episodes? Okay. Nope. It was a few years ago, but you did watch them with me. So that was interesting. We had heard rumours that the Fugitive Doctor was going to play some kind of part. It was such a fleeting moment. It was like seconds, but it was there because apparently it was the Fugitive Doctor that met Abby. That does raise questions about how... my understanding was that the Doctor doesn't remember anything about being the Fugitive Doctor, but here, the 15th Doctor seems to remember what went down, which is that he didn't save Abby. Abby wanted him to kind of bring her... She's a god, her father's a Nancy, and she was hoping that he would rescue her from her father, and he didn't, or she didn't. The Fugitive Doctor didn't, as it turns out. But why does the Doctor remember that, if it was the Fugitive Doctor that did it? That's still a bit unclear, but it was nice to see her, and it ties into the past of the show, which is quite nice, which also the ending did as well. I thought it was a interesting development. There were a few nice little lines in there when the barbershop refers to calling his nexus the World Wide Web, and then the humans named something far uglier because that's the internet, the World Wide Web. So there was that nice little jab at the internet there. There was another one where sort of a slight jab at the internet, but done in I think a clever way, given that we had these the symbolism of the spider and the web and stuff, that the Doctor accuses him of he who hides his identity like a coward, like a troll on the web. That was a nice line too. I like that. So the bit you were talking about with the hair, that's after Belinda convinces Abby that, because Abby's working with the barber, but the barber's lied to her about his full intentions, which is to destroy all the gods, which is what will apparently happen when they get to their destination on the back of this engine, back of this giant spider. And she didn't know that. So Belinda does this sort of empathetic moment towards Abby, which convinces her to help, and she does this map, which is nice because she tells the story about how slaves used to do this during plantation times and when there was slavery in America, and they used to shave or weave maps into people's hair, and then obviously she does that to the Doctor to help him get to the engine where he can overload it with his story, his never-ending story, as it says. It was nice to see. How many of those Doctors did you recognise that came up on the screen?
All of them except for 2.
Okay, cool. It was, I liked that bit. Nice little throwback to the past. He told a story that was just 6 words long, and it overloaded the machine because that 6-word story is a huge story and ongoing and will never end, because the Doctor will never end. Just keep regenerating. I thought that was quite a nice thing of doing. Was there any bits you didn't like?
The spider.
Well, I was about to ask you what you thought about the spider. You got a bit scared of the spider occasionally, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not as when.
It's creepy.
What was the episode that scared you the other week?
Scared me?
Yeah.
Oh, we jump scared. We got jump scared.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, it's the one with the moon.
Oh yes, the well. The well. Yes,
the well.
That's it. Yeah. So I would say you didn't jump as much as you did in the well.
No.
Watching the well, but you jumped a little bit on this one.
I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Going back, you know how the Doctor will keep generating and stuff?
Yeah.
Will you still do these reviews when you're 80 years old?
If the show is still on when I'm 80 years old, I will, and YouTube still exists when I'm 80 years old, probably.
Nice.
Why not? That's a long time away.
Oh, really? I thought it was like...
It's like double my life again.
I thought you were 70.
You did not think I was 70. I did wonder if we were going to get more Fugitive Doctor stuff when she was going to carve the thing in his head. I thought the story she might be more Fugitive Doctor stuff, and we'd see a little bit more, because it seems a shame not to use her a bit more. But then maybe she's showing up elsewhere in the season. Who knows? But the barber does get redeemed, so that's kind of nice.
Near the start, when Belinda is going into the barber shop, she sees a child there, and she turns back and looks again, and she's just disappeared. And then at the end, she asks the Doctor if, he saw the child, and he didn't. So it's just her. At first, I thought it was like her younger self. Yeah,
she said something about... the Doctor said something about stories seeping out of the thing. So I wonder if that's... I have a theory. I'm not going to give it in this video. I might make a video midweek about it, so like and subscribe. So I have a theory. I'll delve into that in another video, I think. But I do have a theory. Let me know your theories of who the child was, and if you...
I think it's her younger self.
You think it's whose younger self?
Belinda's.
Belinda's younger self. I don't think it was... I'd have to go back and watch, actually. I didn't think it was the same race as her. I thought it was looked like somebody that would be from Nigeria, somebody from Africa, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying too much attention. Might have been. I'll go back and look. But let me know your theories, and if you do them before I make that video, if you put them down below, I might include them in the video. So that's an interesting little mystery going on there as well. So there we go. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a unique, different style of episode, and I really liked it. So I don't give markings out of 10, but it would be high up if I did.
But wants to say something for me. I really liked it, except for the spider bit.
Cool. Rowan just said, I liked it. And that was it. Thank you for watching. Like I say, subscribe down below for more, maybe some theory videos midweek. And we'll be back next week for our next review for the Interstellar Song Contest. So, yeah.
I'm excited for that one. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And then we can follow it by watching Eurovision, maybe.
Yes!
So join us then. And, yeah, watch this other Season 2 related video on screen in a minute. Bye-bye. Like and subscribe and all that jazz.
Bye.